Welcome everyone to RealmSmith live sessions. We're not live tonight. We're having major technical difficulties, so we're actually just going to record it as is while we play the session to make sure that you guys don't miss any of the continuity or the narrative as we go. We've been playing for a little bit, so I'm just going to recap what happened. The party has been questing to restore the Ordening of Giant Kind, and in doing so, Jinx's sister was kidnapped by frost giants, 20 of them actually. The adventurers tracked them down to their longship and were able to rescue her and an air genasi. Air that's something totally different. Yep. An air genasi that was also in the ship's hold of their longship. They were able to get out of there, and unfortunately Jinx, the resident dragonborn, was killed, or seemingly killed potentially. He sacrificed himself in order for the party to get free. They jumped back in the lifeboat and they headed back to the Lucerne Tempest, which you see in front of us here. At that point, they were greeted by the crew. Jinx's retainers were obviously incredibly saddened by upon hearing that Jinx had met his end. But
potentially,
but to understand that that there's no other choice, and 20 frost giants is no quarrel that they want, especially right now. You guys are on the Lucerne Tempest. It's already set sail. It's moving towards Waterdeep. Horvath has explained to you, the Maester has explained to you that you'll discuss the price or the cost of traveling all the way to Waterdeep once you guys have kind of settled in. I know what you want to do. You want to tell me again what you...
Yeah, I asked them if I could take a rest down in our quarters, that it's been a long day, but actually I'm going to head down and try to get into the lowest deck of the ship where our mounts are, because I know that there's a couple of storage spaces that I want to get into, and see what kind of useful things there are.
Okay. Anybody else? What are you guys doing? What are you doing? Vor?
I'm really pissed off. I'm just gonna go and sit in the quarters.
Okay.
With Vrox. Well, I guess Vrox is down below, right?
Yeah. So you head down below. Oh,
yeah.
You head down to your quarters.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll hang out in the quarters and just.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You go.
I'm looking after Jinx's sister.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. You
as
healed
the
her,
other
but,
retainers.
yeah, but there's some long-term effects of her kidnapping. Prolonged. Yeah. Dehydration. Things like that, and there's ill effects of the cold. Roscoe, you are emaciated and cold. You've only been in their care, so you wouldn't be emaciated. Sorry. Basically, earlier today, you were kidnapped by the frost giants. You happened to be at Port Last in the town when it was attacked, and they decided to keep you because you were interesting looking.
Well, I probably convinced them that I could entertain them, or.
Sure,
right.
Sure, something like that. Absolutely. What do? You come upon this the ship. You're not, like I said, as worse for wears, but it's been almost a full day of very little food and in the bowel of a very cold ship.
Why didn't I take great food and drink?
Yeah.
Well, I guess technically I'd be staring at the rest of the party, waiting for someone to answer the question I posed to them at last session. Does anyone remember?
Well, your question took 15 minutes to pose.
It's true.
So, what was the question you asked?
The gist.
Paraphrase.
The gist of it would be, who are you people who have just saved my life?
Oh, I don't respond.
Okay.
I was with Jinx's sister at the time. Was I there when you asked the question?
Everyone was there.
It was a small rowboat.
I suppose so.
Everyone ignoring me is a possible, in fact, likely outcome.
I really don't think Vor was in the headspace to want to talk to anyone at that time. So
maybe my question got lost in the overly poetic delivery. So
there's sound of waves and stuff. We also just watched our friend get eaten alive. Maybe.
So. Well, if no one responds to me, then
you're kind of like you stand on the deck. He goes off. He goes down. He goes over to Jinx's sister, and you're kind of like left, kind of looking around. People passing you really quickly, climbing up rat lines. And then Horvath, who is a tall, portly gentleman, full beard, comes over to you and he says, well, welcome aboard.
Well, thank you, Mr. Horvath. Wait, I don't know his name.
You would know his name. But anyways, it's okay. You say thank you. He says, you're welcome. It sounds like there's a bunk available now. You can take Jinx's bunk.
I don't suppose you have any musical instruments on board, do you?
I'm not sure if I want to answer that.
Only because I could entertain everyone while we're going to wherever we're headed.
Yeah, work now, entertain later.
I see. What work would you have me do?
Oh no, you can just stay out of the way. I mean, we need to work.
Very well then. Please show me to my deck. And quarters, I meant. And the quarters.
All right. Yeah. So he points to one of the ship boys and he says, "Show him to his bunk." And he kind of runs over like this. He's got a pail in his hand. He puts down the pail and throws a sponge in the pail and he runs over to you. He looks at you. Let's go this way. Okay. So he takes you down under the deck. You're down there now. Yeah. And Roscoe walks in just to hang up. You, sir, you are waiting in the room. You are also there with them, and you are trying to find a way. Can you persuasion check, please, to find out if you can determine an appropriate time to kind of go down below with nobody knows. Because you're waiting. You're sorry, perception.
Oh,
you were waiting in your room, right?
11.
Perception. Okay. Well, you wait until there's a quiet enough time. And you seem like maybe that time has come. You kind of come out of the room. It is empty. Roscoe and the little boy kind of walk past.
Yep.
Are you going to try and attempt to go?
Yeah, I want to stealthily
move
down the ladder and towards the door.
Give me a stealth check.
23.
Okay. Kind of having already memorized where the creaks and the floorboards are over the last day that you've been traveling, you kind of hop along and right down the chute, and there's basically like a ladder that goes down under the netted area. You find yourself in that kind of main hold, and with the animals there.
Yep. So I'll move to the forward part of the ship.
Yep.
Where I got caught before, and I want to pick the lock, or I want to open the door.
Okay, so you go to open the door. It's locked again.
I want to pick the lock.
Yep. Dexterity check with your proficiency modifier.
16.
Okay, you managed to pick it.
Okay. I'm going to go in, shut the door, lock it behind me.
Okay.
Now I want to start going through some crates that I saw there earlier, if they're still there.
Okay, give me an investigation check.
3.
Is there anything in particular you're trying to find?
No, I don't know what's there. I don't know. I mean, obviously all the... they must have a lot of goods from the ship. They're shipping something. They're not just sailing for fun.
This room is full of bags, a lot of burlap bags and closed crates. As you start to go through stuff, it's the same kind of sorts of things that you're starting to find that you found before, which are like perfumes, spices, kind of general goods.
Same stuff as at the other end of the ship?
No, the other end of the ship was more food stuff. This is more like...
perfumes and spices.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the other place was like flour.
Well, in the back, actually, the back had the perfumes and spices. The first one that I went into.
Okay, I can't remember.
That's fine. I recall.
Which one did you
So the
want?
front one is food. It's just food where I am.
Yes. No. So you wanted to go in the one that you went before, where you got caught.
Yeah. So
yes, you're back in that.
In the last session, I broke into the back end of the ship, and then I went to the front end of the ship, and that's where I got caught. So here is just perfumes and spices.
Yeah.
That's it.
General kind of goods that you would sell, a merchant would sell at like in a market.
But
they're good stuff. And like
so,
jewelry, but nothing like super valuable.
Yeah, so
things like that.
Right, and I was going to go through a list of spices and perfumes and see what I wanted.
Yeah,
but
you
that's
find some weapons, but they're
nothing
standard
amazing.
weapons. Yeah.
Disappointing.
Yeah. How much time do you spend down here?
How many crates would there be? I mean, I
Oh,
guess
gosh,
it's probably
there's
gonna take me
hundreds.
like half
Yeah.
an hour. I'm gonna look through a bunch of them and then decide that there's not a whole lot.
Okay.
Now you said there was in the room with the food. Do you want me to? I do want to try to get some food. Is there prepared food or like rations, or is it just ingredients?
It's like ingredients.
All right, so forget
okay,
it.
so
I'm
you're
just
still
gonna-
while you're in the kind of
Yeah.
spice and perfume
Yeah.
hold. Give me a perception check.
19.
Okay, you do hear pretty heavy footfalls and creaking that pass overhead, and some mumbled voices in their area. At that point, Horvath comes down and says that you obviously need to discuss the payment for the rest of the trip.
So he's in the room above me.
Yeah, you can hear mumbled voices.
Yeah.
Sounds like him talking to the rest of your people.
Right, because they're in the room, so he's talking to them.
Yeah.
Okay, at this point, I don't really find much that's interesting, so I'm gonna try to return. But obviously, as I go up the ladder, I need to make sure that there's nobody in this room before I just pop up out of the ladder.
Yeah, and with your perception check, you could tell that there wasn't.
Okay.
And that you find
So I'll return to the room where they are.
Yeah.
Mostly disappointed.
Okay. You walk in on a conversation, and they're discussing their trip to Waterdeep. Urzath, Aza, and Agrax are all in the room with you, incredibly bummed. Agrax is... Aza's near inconsolable. Agrax is obviously very concerned. Urzath is taking it hard, but kind of like keeping to himself. Where are you, Todd, right now? Once you've taken care of his sister?
I'm with all of them.
So you brought his sister down here?
Down, yeah,
Okay.
to the quarters.
I
I asked Horvath, is it possible for you to send a pigeon to the to where the Jinx's kin live, to let them know that we have his sister safely with us, so they can dispatch people to Waterdeep?
I guess it's possible. There's this far out from land and in this kind of fog. I don't know how successful it will be, but we can definitely try. That's a long way to go.
Why are you sending a not a game? Why are you sending a pigeon to Waterdeep?
Not to Waterdeep.
Sorry, to his hometown.
Why don't you ask him in game?
Am I near him? I'm near him.
No. Yeah, you walked in on their conversation.
Okay, so he's in that room.
Yeah.
I said, what do you want to send a pigeon to his hometown for?
So that they can send a contingent to come get his sister and the rest of his retainers and bring them back home safely.
Could they not return on the ship to the port they started in, and then return by foot there?
Perhaps, but
why send a contingent all the way here simply for them to return? They would be safe on the ship to return to the port they came from.
well, I'd also like to get the swords that I had their blacksmith make for me.
Right. You wanted to be a blade singer, right? But you left your blades.
I've got blades, but these will cut much deeper and leave greater grievous wounds.
It is important to get those blades.
It delayed our party quite a lot for me to be able to cut and fight his...
But it may be... I wonder what is quickest. I suppose the bird is the quickest way. If a bird could fly quicker than getting these people back there on the ship, then that would be the way to go.
They'll need a way to track us. If we just send a bird and they send someone to deliver it to you, how are they going to find us?
Well, it depends how long we stay in Waterdeep. Well, we've got to arrange some sort of safe passage for Jinx's kin. We didn't come all this way and go through all this turmoil to just hand them over to their own devices and hope they make it home safely. We owe it to Jinx to make sure his sister gets home safely.
I agree.
So,
Unless we all want to plan to escort them back home to their kin.
is that what you want to do? Go back?
I don't know that we can spend this time to go all the way back to his home. She's with two of his trusted servants who have shown themselves to be not incapable in battle.
They're 3 children.
You're done.
They've
You're overhearing all this.
they've helped us out where they could, but they're not fighters. They've got a lot to learn.
At this point, a little halfling lady walks into the room and heads right over to Jinx's sister. She takes out a little kit and her bag, and she starts to pull out some ointments and things and starts to attend to her. And then Horvat speaks up and he says, we could always drop them in Neverwinter. If we wanted to. It's our next stop. It's 75 miles from here.
How far is that? From where their final destination is?
Waterdeep's 400 miles.
Oh gosh.
We're looking at like 50 miles to Neverwinter, actually.
But from Neverwinter back to Jinx's homeland, how far would they have to travel?
Let me just refer to the map we got when we were back in Nightstone.
It's on the wall behind you. It makes it easier.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot. Neverwinter would be a lot closer for them to get home.
Megil pulls up the map that you guys were getting.
Well, then maybe they should travel on this ship.
How long are you putting into port at Neverwinter?
We won't be.
You won't be.
We'll pull up close enough. We'll put them on a lifeboat. We'll ferry them to the. We don't want to stop. The idea was never to stop it. Neverwinter.
We appreciate that. It sounds like the best course of action.
Do we want to stop in Neverwinter? Like, we've got no reason really to go to Waterdeep. We're trying to figure out the Ordening, but there's nothing that says we're going to Waterdeep, that we need to be in Waterdeep.
Weren't we going to Waterdeep to perform some task for someone?
Aye, but it was not directly related to the Ordening.
Suppose not.
So what are the next steps in the Ordening then? If you know the way to resolve the problem please tell us.
Well, we don't. That's what I'm saying. Is we don't know what the next steps. We were asked to do a bunch of things when we were in Bryn Shandar, but none of them were directly related to the Ordening.
I think that our best bet is to return to to head to Waterdeep.
Give me an investigation check, Todd. All of you give me a intelligence check.
Including me? No. Is that because I'm already so intelligent? Or?
10.
Because you weren't there.
He critted.
What's that?
He critted.
Okay. So you remember very, very clearly that you were supposed to go to Waterdeep for a number of different reasons. One of them was for Duvesa Shane. Her sister has a boat that she has sent a letter ahead of time that you guys can get free travel across the Sword Coast if you like, because of what you did in Bryn Shandar. The second reason was Cyric said his father had connections with the Roaring Horn family in Waterdeep.
Okay. So Devesa said there's a ship that we can get free passage.
Yeah.
To
back and forth from Waterdeep to just along the Sword Coast.
Unlimited?
Okay.
She said free passage.
And I have my own reasons to go to Waterdeep.
Sure.
So.
But yeah, so and then the other one was that Cyric said you guys talked about Artis Keimer, and the Frost Giants were looking for Artis Keimer.
Okay.
And Cyric is his son, which is why they were potentially looking for him. You weren't even sure necessarily, but you know that the Roaring Horns have close connections, and he suggested you guys go to Waterdeep to ask about what the connection might be.
Okay.
It's Artis Keimer?
Artis, yeah.
How is a chimer spelled?
Cimber.
C-A-M?
B-E-R.
B-E-R.
So climber without the L?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So I'll remind the party of our outstanding quests in Waterdeep.
Okay.
And
We do have tasks we can complete in Waterdeep.
At least being able to secure passage on that ship will be very helpful once we have an idea of where we're going.
It would save us a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And as far as Sirik goes, he died traveling with us. Should we still continue our task for him?
That seems fair to let his family know what he did for us.
Agrex looks up from looking at the floor and he says, and what of Harshnag? He was to meet us in Port Last.
That's a good question. Is there a way to send message to Harshnag?
I would presume that he's doing what he does,
Killing giants?
picking them out one at a time, and finishing them off.
He has no way of knowing where we are,
We would be of no help to him against 20 giants.
I suppose.
Hopefully he saw the danger himself. Neither stayed clear or only took on what he could handle.
We can only hope that if Jinx survived, maybe he's with Harshnag.
So Horvat says, you can sort all this out. I need to let you know that it's going to cost, it's 400 miles. It's 1 silver per mile, so we need 400 silver per head.
40 gold.
Two silver per mile, you said.
Yes, one silver per mile.
1 silver per mile.
40 gold.
Yes.
That's very steep. I suppose. And that's per person? 40 gold per person. Do we have enough?
I'm going to ask him, we are a party of 6. Do you offer group rates? I don't laugh. I just ask him, do you offer bulk ticket rates?
He just stares at you.
How much was it? 40 gold?
I will allow Jinx's retainers, if they are getting off at Neverwinter, to ride for free from here on until Neverwinter. And Agrex looks up and he nods at him.
Jeez.
What? Why is he giving him a free ride? Okay, I'll tell him. I'll say I'm just a poor gnome, and Jinx asked me as I left the ship to take care of his sister. Would you please grant me the journey for 20 gold pieces?
Give me a precision check. Actually, deception.
Should I reroll?
No.
Or just, 14.
He looks you up and down and he says, there's no way you don't have 40 gold, gnome.
Maybe you could pay for us all?
He says, I'll expect 40 gnome.
40 gnomes.
40.
40 gnomes.
I'll expect 40,
Snow gnomes.
I'll expect 40 gold by the end of the day. If you need anything else, let me know. He turns around and walks out.
I'm shocked.
You stand shocked. All right. As you guys leave, the halfling woman continues to tend to Jinx's sister. What do you guys do?
I am going to meditate for 4 hours.
Okay. It is. Yeah. It's approaching evening at this point.
Where's the captain?
You don't know.
Okay, so she's
You
not on
find
the
her?
deck. She's not on the deck, right?
You're on the deck.
We're on the deck. We
You're
don't
not
see
on the
her
deck.
on the deck.
You guys are on. You
All
guys
right.
are under.
I'd like to go up to the deck.
Yeah.
And see if I see her.
Okay. You go to look for the captain. You don't see her on deck. Right where you see.
Okay. Where's the room I spoke with her before? In here?
Yeah, in her quarters. Yeah.
I go there and I knock on the door.
Okay.
I don't know where this is gonna go.
You walk over. You go to knock on the door, and there's a guard standing beside her chamber door. This is, may I help you?
I say, what's her name? Rana?
Mm-hmm.
Say I'm here to see, I'm here to speak with Captain Rana, about a personal issue. And I continue towards the door to knock on it.
And he kind of nudges his way in front, and he says, you can't just speak to the captain directly. You need to go through the maester.
Mr.
The maester.
And I'll say I was just speaking with him downstairs.
Can't let you in.
If I spoke with him, and I still can't speak to her, but you told me to speak to him, then what should I do?
Go find him.
I'll go find him, but he's going to be pretty disappointed that you've wasted his time.
Okay. I have my orders.
Walk away.
Okay. Okay, so you find the maester. You're attempting to find the maester. You find him.
Well, not necessarily.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Let's move on.
All right. What are you guys doing?
Does the 40 gold include mounts by chance?
Don't ask. Why are you asking?
He never said anything about them, so you don't know.
I'm going to assume no. So,
Vor. Assume yes.
I'd rather be honest. But
What did
if
he
I
charge?
could get away
What
with
did he
just
charge for
me-
mounts the first time?
I believe they were free.
I don't think he did charge for mounts the first time.
No, I don't know.
I don't remember.
It's okay.
I don't
Okay.
recall.
All right.
It's a lot of money.
Okay. So you guys, what do you guys want to do for the rest of the day?
Okay, I want to find the Meister.
You're resting.
Mm-hmm.
Long rest.
Long rest.
Okay.
Okay, I'll
It's
take
approaching
a long
dinner
rest
time.
too.
Okay. Are you guys gonna eat before you?
Is the
settle in?
Meister still on the...
No, I'm not hungry.
Okay.
Passage on the boat includes food, right?
Yes.
Even though I haven't yet technically paid the passage.
Yes.
Okay. So who would I approach with getting food?
You have to wait until kind of the mess hall is full, and then they bring food out in the bottom. You can already smell it starting to cook.
I think we know how you're going to pay your way.
So you wait for so you wait for the food to get served. Okay, so these guys rest. You wait for food to get served. It gets served, and you're in this open area, which we saw before.
Hello,
kind
sailors.
of the second deck, and
I'm changing my voice. Fuck this.
No, please don't. Please don't. It's so much fun.
You were saying, Jay?
you go to the second deck, and in the crew quarters, they're all kind of sitting around. Some of them have food already. The chef's coming out, or the cook is coming out, and he's giving, he's serving food to a number of different people. Some of the ship boys are also doing that. You walk into the room, and people take notice. They didn't really notice you before. They were kind of running around, but very few people have seen anything like you. And so it's just very clear that they've taken note
notice.
of your entrance into the room.
Can I tell, looking at any of them, that whether one of them's in charge over someone else, or are they all just dressed in
At
suit
this
clothes?
point, it's all crew down here, and so it's all just standard sailors and the ship boys, and some of the guards are down here as well now.
Okay.
It's about half the crew down here.
Okay, well then I walk up to the person serving,
Yeah, the cook.
the cook.
Yeah.
And I say, well, hello there. Would you have any extra food for myself?
He says, I heard you came on board. You're quite the specimen.
Oh, indeed I am.
Oh, well, all right. What, absolutely, have you, I'm assuming you're here for the ride, so, yeah, okay.
I am indeed.
He says, here, he gives you a plate, and it's got, like, olives, some potatoes on it, some fish, salted pork, that sort of thing, and he gives it to you.
Okay.
And he says, please enjoy. What manner of creature are you?
Me? Well, I'm an air genasi. That's why everything moves as I walk.
It's great.
Have you never met an air genasi before?
I have not.
Oh, well. Then this is as exciting for you than it is for me.
It's very exciting. It's, wow, all right. He kind of turns around and he walks off. Oh dear. Okay, so
I'd like to head down to the deck where they're eating.
okay.
Sort of in search for the mice there, but also there's food going on. Right?
So were you on the deck?
I was up top, right?
If
Near
you
this
if you
door.
scan the deck, you see him on the aft deck.
Oh,
Over
yeah?
by the navigator. Yeah.
I
Darn,
vote
kinda
from
wanna be
now
involved
on,
in
everyone has to say deck with an Australian accent.
Come on, Dick. Walk across.
I'm on the second deck.
Yeah, you are. You just got here. So I gotta walk
Paying
over
for
to him.
his passage.
I'm gonna walk over to him and say,
It's better than the poop, Dick.
please, I must speak to Captain Rana. It's an urgent issue about something she was speaking to me earlier about.
All right, I think she's probably eating right now. I will see if she'll see you. Takes you over to the door again, tells the guard to let him through. He walks right through. Guard closes the door in front of you, kind of on your nose. You start to kind of go in. You're like,
All right.
oh, yeah, got it. A couple seconds later, he comes out and he says, she'll see you. But make it quick.
Why?
She's eating.
Okay. So I'll go in.
Yeah, you head in. She's sitting at her desk. She's got kind of a bit of a platter in front of her. And she takes a swig of her wine and she looks up at you and she says, may I help you?
I am. So I say,
You say, oh, yes.
no. I say, it's so good to see you again.
I'm
I
sure
was-
it is.
We had quite the journey out there. I thought that we were all doomed, but we were able to make it back, thanks to the bravery of our team, of our party.
Yeah.
I say I'm so thankful to be aboard your beautiful ship.
What do you want, Gnome?
Really?
Yeah.
Come on. Sorry, I thought I was being really good here. I thought I was like really flattering her. She's not having any of it. I say I just wanted to talk to you about what we were speaking of earlier. About this gnome that you say I reminded you of.
Yes.
Shoot. Out of game.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this. I actually don't want to talk to her about this gnome. I just want to get her out of this room somehow so I can see what kind of treasure there is. It's so tricky. So, anyways, this whole conversation about him is just going to be to... Anyways, okay.
Let's get to the point.
Really? But she was like so friendly to me earlier.
I'm eating.
Would there be a better time to come back? Should I come back later?
Perhaps after I'm eating.
I'm
done eating.
I'm so sorry to have interrupted you. It smells incredible.
Sure does.
Is that what they're serving below deck?
No.
How do you
Below
become
deck?
a captain anyways?
Goodbye, Balabar.
Have a great evening,
You too.
Captain.
All right.
Listen, I just want to look around the room. Do I see anything interesting looking around the room?
Give me a investigation check.
Rolled 1,000. 13.
You see everything you saw before. The weapon rack, her bookcase. There is a chest, like a
There's a
foot
chest.
locker, with a lock on it, to the left of her desk. Other than that, though, it's
All right, so I'm gonna go outside and let the door shut.
okay.
I'm gonna say to the guard, "I'm so thankful you're here. She's a really special lady. You have a very important job."
Thank you.
Does she always stay in this room? I don't recall seeing her out on the deck. It must be hard to captain a ship from inside of this room.
You don't know much about captaining, do you?
I know a little, but this ship is run a little differently than I'm used to. So does she always stay in this room?
Give me
An
give me a
awesomeness check. Where's my charisma? What is my... Oh, sorry. 13.
He says, no, she sometimes walks around the decks, but she stays mostly in her quarters.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Why would she come out to the deck if she can do most things from within the room?
Fresh air? I don't know. Talk to the crew.
About what? What would she talk to the crew about?
I don't know.
Okay. What's your name?
Ulrich.
Well, Ulrich, it's been a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you too.
And I'm gonna go for a stroll down to the food deck. Where the kitchen is.
All right. Okay. So you guys settle in for the night. Yeah. Eventually, you, sir, you've eaten. You get into some of your stories in front of everybody.
Would you like me to recite something now? Or? No? Okay.
Perhaps not yet. Well, these guys are asleep, so it's up to you if you'd like to. If you'd like to interact with people. But if you want to just do your usual kind of, entertaining, then we can skip that and we can move on. If you'd like. It's up to you.
It's up to Brandon, really.
Why me?
Why not?
Can I keep an eye out
You
for if
should
she
entertain.
leaves that room?
Not from under deck. Not from below deck.
I think we're
If you
good.
want to go above deck, sure.
There'll be so much opportunity for entertaining as we progress, so.
All right.
And we want to move the story along, so.
Here we are now. Just entertain us.
Do you want to hang out above deck?
At some point, there's a couple things I want to do. I want to talk to the cook and see if he can make me like a dozen cupcakes. I want him to make me like a half dozen
baker.
tarts. That's just tarts. I'm gonna ask him if he can make me a half dozen tarts. Hey, cook. That smells amazing. You're obviously a very skilled, amazing cook.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Mhm.
for the meals you serve.
Yeah.
Are you able to make tarts?
Not really equipped for tarts.
But you could do it, I'm sure. You're
No,
such
I-
a skilled gentleman. I'm sure you can make some sort of.
We have a
Art?
limited menu.
No,
If I was at home in my
You're
kitchen,
modest.
then absolutely I could whip up incredible tart, best tarts you've ever
I
tried.
feel you're being
not on board.
You're being modest.
No, I'm absolutely capable of making tarts. I can't make them out of what I have. Okay.
While he's talking to the cook, actually, I think I will do some entertaining.
Okay.
So
Well, they're
all
asleep.
asleep, so this would have been for the crew.
Yeah.
But I would have said, say, does anyone know what to do if you're eaten by a frost giant?
All the crew goes, no, we don't. And at this point, you've already told a couple of jokes. You told some stories. You have them eating out of the palm of
Raucous
your
laughter,
hand.
of course, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite simple. You simply run around its stomach over and over until you're all pooped out.
A lot of the people.
Am I still talking to the chef?
Some of the drunker, yes. You hear laughter from the other room. Half the room groans. A third of the room laughs. Some of the room throws things at you. But they all kind of get a kick out of your...
So I'll just say to the chef, did you see this guy? We picked him off of the frost giant ship. I think he's a rainbow genasi or something.
Yeah. He's quite remarkable.
Remarkable is one word.
You know what rainbow gymnasts have? A pot of gold. Wouldn't you like to see it?
Okay, right. All right, so you guys settle in for the night. You settle in. Do you do anything else?
Oh man, I really wish she would leave her ship. I'm gonna wait until I'm tired on the deck and see if she's left her room.
Evening approaches and settles. And where are you sitting? Give me exactly where you're kind of settled.
I'm just over here. Just watching the waves and the stars.
Can you guys take if your minis are on the deck, if you guys can take them off, because you guys are currently sleeping.
They're on dick. Are you sleeping fancy pants?
Yeah, no, I probably took it everybody out.
Good job.
All right. We have a lookout. Pass me all the people on the sails, please. Except for that top guy that was here.
Oh, that's the guy I passed. Icebergs ahead!
There's one more guy there.
No one hit the icebergs.
And
Iceberg
you can take the
did
boys
it.
off
Oh, he
too.
did.
Who does that?
Take the boys off and put those two
boys off.
guards at the back,
You want to keep the halfling?
the back edges. That's fine. That's not a halfling. It's a boy. Oh, or that's a halfling. Yeah, take the halfling off too.
Get out of here, shorty.
Meister's going to bed, right? Horvath?
Shorty.
Yeah.
He's going to bed.
Get off deck.
And then I am gonna put
Alrighty,
2 more
just
guards
like
up there. So who's that? Okay. And put the 2 gray guards on the far end. These 2 here, and then put these 2 guards on the other side by the other entrances.
So this one right beside Balabar.
Yeah. Okay. So you
Looking at you.
it gets pretty quiet on deck.
He's sitting right beside me. So nobody's watching the door anymore?
And you do notice. No, there's a guard by the door. Is there a guard by the door right now?
No.
I can move this guy by the door.
Yeah, move the guard by the door, please. And a lot of the... You notice a lot of the crew. There's only so much room on the... in the crew quarters. Sorry. There's only so much room in the crew quarters, so they actually sleep on deck a lot of times through the evening.
So this kid's supposed to be sleeping.
Oh,
yes,
how convenient.
So that's kind of the situation right now, and everybody who's on deck. Where are you, Balabar? Where are you
I'm
now?
just hanging out, looking at the waves and the stars.
Beside the guard?
Well, I was there first, but...
And you give me... Well, would you like to switch where you are right now?
No, I'm over there. It's alright. I don't want to be, like, right beside him.
Right.
But I want to be, like, maybe over here or something. I don't know.
Okay, cool.
He doesn't want to be on the same
I
deck
need you to give me a
as him.
perception check.
Me?
Yeah.
All these deck jokes.
Oh, my gosh. 11.
They never get tired.
You hear...
You sure it's not passive? I got a 14
No,
in
because
passive.
you said you're kind of looking right.
Yeah.
That's funny. You hear a flutter pass you. It's dark now. There's no more fog, but you can only see, obviously, as far as your eyesight can see.
Right.
And you hear a flutter fly, something kind of fly past you in the back. And you turn around and nothing's there.
Ah.
And the guard seems to kind of like he's nodding off a little bit. The guard at the side, beside you.
All right. Well, I just keep kind of looking up in the air, looking around the sails, looking for whatever that was. I mean, I guess I would assume it was some sort of bat or something. Did it sound like the size of a bat, or the size of a bird, or the size of a airplane? Not that those exist.
With your roll, probably the size of a bat, like a large bird, seagull kind of bat.
Okay, a seagull size bat, not to be confused with the size of a seagull.
Right.
Correct. Okay, so
those are all correct assumptions.
A bat doll.
So I hear this. So I assume it's a seagull.
You hear it again, and you hear it from basically it flies from sail to sail, and you look up and you see, basically in the moonlight, the silhouette of a elongated creature with wings. And
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm gonna say over to the guard by the door, like, hey, do you see that? Hey.
He says, "What?
By the door.
What? Oh, yeah. Oh no, he didn't. He wasn't sleeping."
No, he's
Okay,
awake.
you look over at the guy at the door.
By the door.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
What is that?
What is what?
Oh, it's like an elongated creature. It sounds like the size of a bat, the size of a seagull.
He looks.
That happened.
He looks up again, and you see he'll do this again, and it kind of floats across, and he says, "No, I don't see anything. You see it." He's like, "I don't. What are you talking about?"
I'll say, it's right about the sail.
And the guy kind of wakes up beside you. He's like, "What?" He starts to look up. Everyone's kind of looking. Can you make a perception check with another perception check for me, please?
It's even worse.
Really?
It's a 10.
Oh, jeez.
But I'm going to say to him, I bet you can catch it.
At this
I don't
point,
even near
though,
him. I bet you can catch it.
at this point, the creature kind of comes down like this and below the ship, like not below the water, but
Below the edge.
below the deck,
Yep.
like this, and you can tell it looks like what you would imagine a winged snake would look like. You've seen one of these before.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, the sailor on the crow's neck yells up and says, "Ship approaching!
Yeah, remember?
Ship approaching!"
Yeah.
And they start to. It basically that continues to echo across the deck. Ship approaching! And as you look out, you see.
How many hours have passed since I went for my long rest?
You're about ready. It's about you're starting to stir.
So it hasn't been a full rest for me yet.
No, you guys are 4 hours in.
All right.
In the distance, it's not as close as it is here. Joel, are we catching that on camera there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, looks
Maybe
like a
we'll take
Roscoe.
Roscoe out of the water.
Oh, that's a sweet.
Yeah, you have to bring
Uh,
it closer to the ship if you're going to get into the shot.
Okay, so it's not as close yet. We don't need it that close yet.
Cool.
But it's kind of it's coming almost in an intercept pattern. So it's a ways out still, but it looks like it's coming to intercept. And
All the creatures on the bow are friendly looking, except for the one with the tail.
you don't know, you're not there.
Okay.
And it's coming fairly fast. In fact, faster than a ship should be moving of that size.
So I'm gonna say to this guy.
Hang on. Not
Okay.
that yet. You see a number of silhouettes on board. Well, from do yeah. Okay, what do? You hear that?
I
you,
say-
you look across this way where everybody's pointing, and you see the silhouette of a ship with a number of figures on board.
I say to him, "You better get the captain out here."
To who?
To the guy guarding the door.
Yeah. So he yells out to this guard, who yells to this. He looks at you and he starts to, not to panic, but he kind of thinks for a second. He says, "Wake the chief! Wake the maester! Wake the maester! Wake the maester! Wake the maester!" Doom, 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 doom. They start to bang on this door. I want you to roll initiative.
Awesome.
Just me? Okay, I got a 20.
20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, except I don't know what to do yet. I don't know why. I don't know why. What's wrong with this friendly merchant ship approaching us?
And I'm gonna put guards in here.
Sorry, that's Balabar.
All right. Okay, so
I mean, no. This isn't my real thing anyways.
that. Okay, so what do you do? Sorry, at this moment.
I guess I hold my action until I have a reason to fire.
That is true. You do.
If
Do you just stay where you are?
if they attack, I hold my action until either they attack the ship or one of our people attack them.
And then what are you going to do when that happens?
I am going to fire my arrow.
Okay. All right. So the sailors start to wake at this point. The guards head over to this side of the ship with their turn. They man either side of the. Can you move? Is it that guard? That guard that's over on that side? Move him here. These two sailors are gonna climb the rat lines. This guy is gonna make it up to here. That guy is gonna make a double movement so they can get a better shot, a better view. This
Do we
guy
hear
over
all
here.
of this below deck, Jason?
Give me. I need you guys. What's your passive perceptions?
14.
16?
13 hours.
Yeah, you guys are woken by yells above deck. A couple of you, and then the rest of you are as the yells start to continue through the bottom cabin. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And you guys start to.
If I had a full
Stir.
rest, has it been 4 hours?
Yeah, you have. You were
Okay.
already awake, so you hear it.
Okay.
These guys, and then you heard it from above, and then these guys hear it as it starts to, and you hear the door slam open of the guard barracks, which are
Right.
right next to you.
Right.
And you
right,
hear
yeah.
footsteps and like
Okay.
like trying to get armor on and like.
So I'm gonna grab my equipment.
Yeah.
My,
What are you grabbing? Because I'm assuming you didn't sleep in your your armor.
it's just leather armor, so I.
5 minutes it takes to put on medium armor. Is it medium or light armor? I think it's light, right?
Mm-hmm. But I would have just slept in my leather armor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's still
Come on, I'm just
uncomfortable.
meditating.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just sitting there in a stance. Right?
What do you do?
I heard this. It woke me up.
Yeah.
Then I guess I'll get up.
You would not be sleeping in your armor, in your splint.
No, probably not.
Do you have armor?
Unless I was paranoid at the time, or trying to be ready. I wouldn't have been in this case, so it'll take me some time to put that on.
Okay. 5 minutes, in fact.
5 minutes. It's
Yeah,
heavy.
it's medium or heavy. What are you wearing? 10
Split.
minutes.
Yeah, so it's heavy. So there we go. I'll see you guys in 10 minutes.
Should I put it all on?
If somebody helps me, is it faster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut it in half.
Roscoe would help you.
Is Roscoe there?
Yeah, he's awake. Roscoe, what do you... Go ahead.
Roscoe, is it?
It is.
Can you help me with my armor?
I would love nothing more.
I mean,
Thanks.
Yes.
to put it on.
How can you
Okay.
joke in the middle of a war?
Is it like halftime if he's helping?
Yes, halftime.
Okay, so see you in 5 minutes.
I'm already gone up the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember, it's
It's
six
okay.
6 seconds per round.
I know. So there's
Okay.
nothing I can do. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you can go up
By the
there.
time we're done,
You can go up naked.
go naked. Up in your cotton undies.
I don't know. That's risky business, guys.
Yeah. Don't worry, Roscoe's got your back.
Why does this stuff always happen when we're sleeping? I don't know. I guess I'll be. I want to do something. I've been sleeping and upset this whole time. I want to kill something now. Work out this aggression. I hate doing stuff without armor. Yeah, I'll just. All right, I'll go up and leave the armor on my cot.
Okay. All right, so you guys are able to make it up basically to the top deck with a double movement if you wanted to in one turn. So I'd like you guys to roll initiative.
12.
12 for Vor.
6.
6 for Megil.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that's with advantage.
Jeez. Really?
Yes.
Miguel.
Dude.
I know.
Luckily, we're an enemy.
That's all right.
And Roscoe, advantage?
Okay, just a second.
Fire your arrows in the dark.
Wow.
23.
23. You are first, sir. Wow.
Just screwed everything up.
Okay.
Roscoe's on first.
All right. Okay, so, Vor, you're up.
Okay, I'm on deck now?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll have a held action to fire a crossbow bolt.
Where? So
Well,
you're basically.
I can't see anybody specifically, so I guess.
So these are the entrance. These are
Yeah.
the entrances to the lower decks. So
Mm-hmm.
you would be basically around, adjacent to one of those decks,
All right,
one of those exits.
all right. So I would be here,
Yeah.
taking a similar action to what Balabar is doing.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for some sign of provocation before, it's some sign that there's an actual fight happening before
Right.
I lose anything.
Right. Okay, McGill.
Same sort of thing. However, I look over at Vor and see that he hasn't obviously put his armor on. And I just put my hand on his shoulder and I
Yeah.
cast Barkskin
On Vor.
on Vor.
Nice.
Okay.
Wow.
What kind of a?
16 AC.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
all of a sudden, you feel a hand on you, and your skin begins to chafe, and then crack, and then take the texture of bark and wood as it climbs up your body and up your. You're like, whoa! Like you didn't realize obviously what was happening at first.
Okay.
You have to accept it. So I'm assuming once you notice it's Megil, you accept it. And
Well,
then,
You accept Megil's wood.
right. Now, I probably would have seen this before.
Who wouldn't?
On the dick.
Who would I be to deny McGill?
That's an edit.
all right.
So I would have seen this before, probably in the arena. Somebody would have used this. Like,
But you've seen me cast it on. You've seen me turn this way.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so it's not like a total shock. Like, what are you doing, man?
No.
Okay, got it.
All right. Roscoe, what do you do?
How
Oh,
far?
sorry, no. Roscoe is not up yet.
Enemy.
Enemies. All right. The ship pulls up. Basically, as you guys are all moving alongside,
What's the distance between the two ships?
right? What you see here.
Okay.
So if we want to measure it, there's a
25 feet.
Okay.
actually
Well,
past where the ice flows, it's actually become much warmer. And you guys know it's a 4-day journey.
Propane.
You want
To
to move us
Waterdeep.
over?
That no,
We can.
yeah, no, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so you see as many people are on that ship right now. Just a mixture of, they look like mercenaries, thugs, bandits, that sort of thing. I'd like you guys to make perception checks, please.
Oh man.
6.
9.
I forgot my monocle
20.
downstairs.
Not that.
13.
Okay. You faced these guys before. You noticed some of the
Nice.
paraphernalia. You kind of get the idea that they are the Zentarum. And this one in particular puts kind of up his hand, and a winged snake flies from around your ship, from one of the sails, and coils around his arm.
Do I recognize this guy?
No. And it says, and he says, somebody says, I need to speak to your captain. Over the waves. Whoosh, as you guys crash through the waves.
She's still under quarters, right?
Yeah.
I say to the guard, I told you you should get her.
It's not your turn. Roscoe, what do you do?
I thought speak is a free action.
Who am I standing next
on
to?
your I don't know, where are you?
Well, I was in the water before, but
You can be anywhere around Vor and Megil. Basically behind Megil or on
well,
the
I was
other-
helping
behind the
Vor with his
sailor.
armor, so I'll probably turn to
You
Vor.
stopped.
No, Vor didn't
Yeah.
put on
He
his
decided.
armor.
Okay.
So you just came up with him. So put Roscoe
Alright.
behind Vor.
Yeah. So basically, I looked at you and said, "There's no time," and I ran out.
All right. Okay. Have I learned your name yet?
I don't think so.
All right. Tap you on the shoulder. I say, by any chance, do you know who's on that other boat? Are they friendly or not?
I can't tell from here.
Well, then, I suppose we'll have to see how things play out.
I suppose we will. Be ready to fight. Do you have a weapon?
Well, I have several, but not in the physical sense that you're referring to.
Okay. Okay.
Sidelong glance.
I am proficient with a rapier if you happen to have one of those handy.
No, I don't.
Well, then, I suppose we'll have to...
We don't allow those in our society.
All right. So, okay. So at this point, they don't have their hands on their weapons or anything like that right now. But you can tell that they are prepared for any sort of oncoming attack. Bit of a defensive stance, as it were.
You're still back here.
Yeah, I want to. Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to, but I'd like to run over the edge of the ship.
Balabar, you're up.
Okay.
Want to ride up to the edge
First
of
thing
the
I'm gonna say to this guard is, I told you you should get her.
ship? He looks at you and says, there's a. Ah!
Okay, can I know that they are Zentorum because of the winged snake creature that's the size of a seagull but kind of like a bat? Or do I not?
You would have put those two together.
Yeah, because I had.
Now you have.
Okay, so I will say to him, it's the Zentorum. You better get her out here quick.
At this point, he says, I have my orders. I have to wait. I can't just enter her quarters.
Oh.
At this point, the officers, 3 of the officers come out of the officers' quarters, which is over here.
Yeah.
And Horvath basically bursts out and makes his way to the edge, like this. And this guy jumps into the middle, which is like the chief guard.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Keep your posts."
I'm going to move to the edge of the ship as
And
well.
this one here kind of climbs up here and just keeps his distance a little bit.
Okay, I'd like to move to the edge of the ship as well, just so that I can be sure that I see them.
All right.
Maybe even close to the rest of my party, just out here.
Okay.
Okay.
The chief guard says, "Hold steady."
Still holding my action.
Yeah. Can we bring up this little boy?
Yeah.
It's out of there. Actually, pull the ship boys off the deck. They scurry under. Okay. All right. At this point, he comes to the edge and he says,
Is this Horvath?
Yeah. Horvath comes over to the edge and he says, "What do you want with the captain?" He says, "Oh, we need to speak to her. There are people you have on board that we're interested in. Perhaps a trade."
Ooh.
Horvath says, "We will have no trade. These are our passengers. They're under our defense." And he looks over at you guys.
I just look at Megil. Like
I don't know how word would have gotten back to. I look at you and I'm like,
because it's only the 2 of us that have fought them.
Exactly.
Right? These guys just joined us, so.
and we killed all of the.
I'll just say, like,
Give me an investigate. Give me an intelligence check. Me too.
Whoa, Joe, you should have seen that. It was amazing.
Did you totally get
13.
Shot,
It went like,
okay.
it was like spinning like a crazy.
Should be paying more attention.
13 as well.
This isn't the first time you faced them. That wasn't the time in the alley. Wasn't the first time.
No,
you faced
no,
No, we faced them in
Nightstone.
Nightstone and then in the alley in Bryn
I'm thinking of Nightstone for
Yeah,
sure.
Okay,
that's
so-
what I'm
So
thinking.
I
I
helped
just
in
said
the alley.
Yeah, you
Why would
helped
they
in the
be-
alley.
And so I'm familiar with the Zentarum from
You
Bryn
are,
Shander.
that's right. Because you knew who the Zentarum were when we
Yeah.
were in Bryn Shander. But we had already faced them in
So I'm just
Nightstone.
saying,
But we
why
killed them all in Nightstone.
No, we let some go. We let a couple go.
Did we?
Yeah, there were. We killed the leader, and we convinced that the rest that they should
Oh,
go, and we give them
that's
the gems,
right.
and they would go.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
2 of them left. And then I saved your life again. So
Dude, how many times have I resurrected you?
I think it was
Keeping
one.
score.
Anyways, so I'll just say like, why
Or you're
would
up.
they be after us?
All right. So anyway, I nod to the maester, basically like a thank you, but I'm still holding my action.
Okay. All right. You go.
I look at the maester and I say, we've run into them before. They're not a good kind. I would not let them speak to your captain, or have her come on deck. Her life would be at risk.
Persuasion check.
Complete fail. Persuasion 4. A 4.
I wouldn't let them.
He says, "I can't leave the captain out of this."
Okay.
And he says, he yells over. He says, "Call for the captain!" And the guard goes, "Go, go, go."
I told you.
They kind of hold, and he says, "My patience grows thin. She better be out soon." And you see, there's a tiefling in the back. You guys haven't seen many tieflings. but they're kind of humans with demon-like qualities. Long tail, some of them have horns, different colored skin, feared by many, and misunderstood by most. And she kind of brings her hand like this, and a little flame goes and starts to kind of build in her hand.
I'm going to... I know it's...
Sorry,
I just want to...
I know it was, like, on my last... Can I, like, have a held action?
Sure.
Same as the other guys. Like, I'm ready to knock and fire an arrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to know specifics when you guys hold actions.
So
though.
yeah.
When
so
this specific thing happens, I will
if there's an
specifically do this.
aggressive movement from them, like
Yeah.
if they're going to fire arrows or try to board the ship,
Yeah.
then I am going to fire an arrow.
Okay.
Should we be calling like who we're aiming at?
No, saying if there's any aggressive movement, I'll let that go.
But that's almost aggressive movement, right? So as she
does
does
that
that,
mean we change
I just
our-
want to begin to draw my bow on her, so
Yeah.
that as soon as she brings her arm back to throw this fire at our ship,
Yeah.
I'm going to release.
So if we're allowed to do that, then we can all basically be aiming on her.
So I'm just a tip on archery. Like, you wouldn't have drawn your arrow. Like, you would be ready to grab, because like archery is a single motion of take an arrow, fire.
yeah, like you're a wood elf.
You
I'm a
don't
freaking gnome.
you don't hold the arrow in
Have
your
you
bow.
seen him fire
Yeah,
arrows
that's true.
before?
Holding my bow because I fight with a dagger and a
Yeah,
sword.
yeah.
I'm there like, okay.
That's good. All right. At this point, we'll take a short break. You guys need to go to the washroom, do anything like that, and then we'll be back here in like
I'm gonna
a couple minutes.
heat up.
Welcome back. We're back from the break. We left off, and it is the enemy's turn. Is that right? Laughing about what is going on over here?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. They were waiting for the pyre captain. You guys are just waiting. You guys are in a holding
Correct.
pattern until the pyre captain shows
She's
up.
got some blue flaming shit happening, and we're all ready to react to whatever she does.
Put an arrow through her eye.
Right. Okay. So all the sailors have taken out their light crossbows. They all have light crossbows and they're starting to knock arrows or bolts, I should say.
On our ship.
On your ship. Yes.
Are they knocking boots as well, or?
Wow. Seriously.
So no. All right.
You can tell that the other ship that they have heavy crossbows, but on the ground, like they're holding them on the ground, and so they haven't pulled them up in
an aggressive.
an offensive
So the
manner
only
yet, but they've got them ready to go.
so the tiefling is the only one that's done anything that comes across as being actual physically aggressive.
Well, yeah, they're all kind of defensive, and even
Right.
still, she's kind of like just watching like this.
All right.
Are we still going through initiative order for all of our actions now?
If you guys are all holding, I can just wait until the captain comes out, and then we can go from there. You guys are holding, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Captain comes out, and at that point, she says, she kind of weaves in and around, takes a wide berth, and kind of comes right here, and she says, "All right, you have me. What is it?" And they begin to have a conversation. The Zentarum leader says, "You have some people on your ship that interest us. We have issues with them. They killed a number of our own not long ago, and they need to answer for it. Release them to us, and we'll let your ship go."
Self-defense.
And she kind of catches
I say it
catches you
within like earshot of her,
Yeah.
but not necessarily
Yeah.
that.
She looks over at you, and she says, "Surely you can tell that you're outnumbered." And he looks behind. And he says, "Surely you can tell we have firepower." And that little kind of circle of fire, kind of and like sparks fly off it to kind of intimidate you guys. All right, Roscoe, what do you do? They're having a conversation.
Kill the entire ship.
The captain says, "You can't have them. If you want them, you'll have to come get them."
Perfect. Okay.
She taunts them.
Do you guys want to do anything at this point?
Can we? We're still in initiative.
I just want to know if you guys are
Order.
still holding. Because if you're, I'm not going to go through each of you guys.
Yeah,
if
I'm
you're
still
holding.
holding.
Okay.
Okay.
Roscoe, you still holding?
Well, I think I'll turn back to Vor and say, well, it appears that they want you, not me. But then again, you did save my life, so perhaps... Very well, then. I turn back, walk to the rail of the ship,
Yeah.
and I cast...
Oh gosh. Sinking ship.
But don't crit. don't nat one on this.
Yeah.
I cast Major Image,
Okay.
okay? And I make it look like I've just hit their sail with a fireball, and it's gone up in flames.
Wow. Can you
What,
read
you're
major
just
images
screwing with us?
and just tell me what
Oh,
that looks like?
like we need another one of me.
Well,
Messing with your own
apparently we did, and now we have two.
Major illusion, you mean? Is that what you're talking
So
about?
Well, it's called Major Image, but that's
Image?
effective.
It's called image?
Yeah, it's called Major Image.
Oh, so they would see it too. So we would think that they're on fire, and they would think they're on fire.
Correct. Everybody.
Like, wow, this guy just did that.
Well, he wins.
He's more powerful than we thought.
Let's go to bed.
All right, see ya.
Roscoe, come to bed.
Okay.
Should we finish the job here?
Finish it anywhere.
You can read it.
Okay.
Tell me what it says.
You create the image of an object, a creature, or some other visible phenomenon that is no larger than a 20-foot cube. The image appears at a spot that you can see within range and lasts for the duration, which is 10 minutes. It seems completely real, including sounds, smells, and temperature appropriate to the thing depicted.
Wow. That's way better than mine.
You can't create heat or cold to cause damage, or a smell. And then you can move it to any spot you want. And you, as the image changes location, you can alter its appearance so that its movements appear natural to
Okay,
the
so
image.
how long does it last?
10 minutes. So you can make it look like the fire is spreading.
Oh, okay, cool. So you, so all of a sudden Roscoe just steps to the side and looks like he hurls this fireball. This fireball careens across, hits their sail. It starts to go up. To the chagrin of everybody on board both of the boats.
So
The captain actually says, "Holy shit!" As she kind of jumps. Do they have to make any sort of intelligence check or anything or any sort of save?
I don't believe so.
So if this is the aggressive action, then I think we can.
A creature that uses its action to examine the image can determine that it's an illusion with a successful intelligence or investigation check against your spell save DC.
Okay. So at this point, the whole ship on everybody on board the other ship, they hit the deck. It hits and they just right down.
What happens to the
Prone.
tiefling's flame?
It goes out as she
I say we
hits the
shoot
ground.
her anyway.
I'm close.
So they all go prone, kind of like this, as it happens. And everybody kind of looks on your side, kind of looks back at the captain and the chief, and she says, "Hold!" And he looks at you, says, "Hold!" Obviously not happy. And the captain says, captain looks at you angrily and says, "Mind yourself."
Do you want me to dispel it then?
Balabar.
Right, I have a similar illusion skill. Can I perceive if this is an illusion? Can I do that? Because
If you take the action to
Investigation check.
take an investigation check, then you can.
Okay, I'm
you
gonna
succeed.
use.
But as it appears right now, he just set their sail on fire.
I want to use. I'm gonna use my action to investigate because I use minor illusion a ton. His like amazing illusion.
It looks like a fireball.
It
So
just
you don't
totally,
even think it's in. You're like, "Oh wow, he can do that."
It
And then-
sounds
and then
like
you
a
kinda-
fireball.
so I-
and
It's because
you'll
totally
heat off of
believable.
it.
It is until you do an investigation check. So you could see it and be like, "Oh, how did he do that?" And as you look closer, you could see the thread
Yeah,
of the
that-
illusion.
That's
If
what
you
I would
succeed.
like to
Okay,
do.
so give me an
Yeah.
investigation check. And what's your spell DC?
Is that my spell save?
No. Your spell save DC?
I
Yeah.
hope it's less
14.
than 16.
14.
16.
Okay. So you take a moment and you're like amazed, and then you start to see how it starts to shimmer in and out, and you see like the
You'd probably notice
Yeah.
that the sail isn't taking any damage.
you're starting to notice that it is in fact an illusion.
Okay, I think that's amazing because I all I can do so far is a wardrobe.
Besties.
So I was like, that's amazing. So like I'm beside him.
Yeah.
At this point, I want to start backing up through the crowd towards the middle of the deck.
Okay.
I'm just gonna smack him on the butt and like, and like,
Okay.
kind of give him like a half smile, half wink
Okay,
sort of
so
thing.
he
Like,
snaps
that's
you on the butt
amazing.
like this.
and I just back up.
You
kinda,
feel a little pat on your butt, and then you can back up 30. You can back up your movement.
I don't want it to be too obvious, but I'm
Okay.
gonna back up to like over to here, like behind
If it's a
me.
concentration
Behind the
spell
crowd.
and he slaps me on the ass, would that
No.
disrupt?
No.
Oh no, you're
No, you need to take
Listen, you've been-
damage
Okay.
or
Woohoo!
something. much
That
more.
would
It just disappears.
You've had a focus while being slapped on the butt
Guards.
before.
That's true.
Okay. At this point, the guards all lift their the guards lift their spears. They all have short throwing spears. The sailors all lift their crossbows, and they all kind of take cover along the side of the deck. If you guys can just move any of them along the side of the deck and kind of rest their crossbows.
So they're all alongside the deck.
And okay,
We get it.
the joke's dead.
Dak sounds like dick.
And the chief yells out, "Hold for my signal!"
Oh, gee.
The Meister?
No,
Or no?
the chief.
Oh,
The chief.
This
These
dude
guys,
on top?
These guys gonna come out too?
Just on that side, yeah. Just that guy stays there. They all kind of come towards the deck.
This dude's
Yeah.
the chief,
Who,
right?
this?
No,
No.
this guy's the chief, and he stands back a little.
Oh, okay.
What does this guy do?
That guy
Oh.
falls off the
Wow.
crow's nest. Put him
Wow,
up
you're
on the
s-
crow's nest, please.
Throwing people around? Man.
Schnerfeblin is
I
dead.
hate my life.
Okay. Vor.
Yes. So she said to hold, so I'm very begrudgingly holding, but
Okay.
very much want to
What is
fire.
your ranged weapon?
Heavy crossbow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Megil.
Yeah, same. I look at her, I look at Vor, I look back at Balabar, because the three of us are the ones that the Zentarum are after, or presumably
Yeah.
are after, right? And yeah, I barely restrain myself from firing at the what's he called again?
Halfling. No,
The tiefling.
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 Okay, so they all hit the deck. They feel the heat from it. The leader yells to them and says, "Water now!" And a couple of them scramble. These two scramble, and they this one goes like under the deck, and under the aft deck. This one comes down to here, grabs a bucket, and they start to kind of like go into the water and start to try and put out the flame.
We're holding actions.
We're all holding actions.
The ship's
the
on fire.
pirate-
They said,
They
got
just
the
got
water.
water. They just got water.
All right.
Yeah, they were getting the water off the ship, and I found a bag of
And they were
gold
gonna
on the
leave.
deck.
They were gonna get water and a boat sail.
And they were just quickly turn the burning sails around.
A
I
boat
believe
sail,
they'll just
that's a
cast
thing, right?
suggestion across the ship. Leave.
How are these guys finding us all the time?
I know. That's
There must be a tracking device.
Okay, who's up?
Must be.
All right. Are we good?
Yep, we're good.
Okay.
Someone's feeding them information.
All right, so they're scrambling to put out the fire. The rest of them get up. If you can please stand them all up. And Roscoe, as you sit at the edge there, the tiefling looks at you, she squints her eyes, and she says, "You can," and you can't really hear her, but across her lips she says, "I've got one of my own." And she lets loose a fireball that careens the expanse and smashes against the deck of the ship.
Okay, can we fire on that?
You will in a sec. So it hits there.
Okay.
Each creature in a 20-foot radius sphere.
That's a lot.
So that didn't quite work out as intended.
That's like...
Yeah, and the sail, right?
Okay, so everybody in that 20-foot radius, I need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Thank goodness I moved.
And my dice roll's been
Why is there a
shite.
D6 on the deck?
Yeah.
Because that's where the fireball hit.
Was it?
Yeah, that's why I was there. I was saying 20 feet from that point.
Am I within 20 feet here?
I'd say no. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes.
I'm in.
Just-
You're
yeah.
right below this.
Yeah, you're just in.
Did it hit the sail or it hit the deck?
Both.
Okay.
It's 20 feet up too.
I have a total of 10
10
points
Okay.
for my dex saving
Okay,
throw.
what about you guys?
7.
8.
Oh my gosh.
I
I'm
know.
far away.
Okay, so the fireball hits and it ignites, and it's like an explosion. So I would need everybody in that area to take 26 points of fire damage.
Holy crap.
I absorb elements on that,
Okay.
so I have resistance, so I take 13
So you
points.
take half. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the deck ignites. It starts to go on fire. The sail starts to go up.
Can we go back to before I cast the spell?
Yeah.
Undo.
I feel like when she was like, I've got one of my own, we should have been able to shoot her in the head.
At this point, though,
Right.
well, again, right? It was her initiative. You're waiting for them to do something. So she's
Right.
done something,
You're right, you're
and now there's a reaction.
Yeah.
And so I need you guys to make your attacks, please.
All right.
And who are you firing at? I need to know all these things.
Critical fail.
Jeez, these guys. Oh.
So I'm firing at her.
Yeah.
Absolutely just sucked.
And it's my reaction, so I can't use Hunter's Mark or
Yeah.
anything. So, firing an arrow, that's a 19 plus 8, I believe. 19 plus 6, so 25 to hit.
Okay, that's a hit
Okay.
on her.
Yeah, it's a D8 plus 6 points of fire damage. Or D6 of fire damage.
Okay.
So that's a 6 on the D8 and an extra 4 of fire damage. So 10 points of damage. Or, sorry, 6 plus 3, so 9 on the arrow damage, plus an extra 4 points of fire damage for the spell,
So how much?
the
is that
absorb
total?
elements. So it was 6 plus 3, 9 points, plus 4 fire damage. So 13 points total damage.
On all of them.
Just on the one arrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounded like a robot.
Yeah.
It's an R2D2.
And you're firing again.
Well, I can only do the one on a held action, right?
When the DM asks
No,
if
you
you want
can.
to
You
fire
can.
again.
You hold all your combat actions. So however many attacks you get.
So
You
could
get
I
them.
have done Hunter's Mark then?
No.
No. Okay. So then yes, I will fire again.
Okay.
Colossus Slayer will come into effect
Yeah.
then. If
And then
she's
just
already...
give me a total of all of that.
Okay. So
Like,
second attack is a nat 20.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
Uh,
2 or 3 fires, then why wouldn't I?
6.
Is that the food?
Oh, can you grab that, Josh? Somebody got a D8 that they can pass me? Thanks. 16 points on the secondary.
Okay, so how much is that in total?
The first one was 13, or
Yeah, I think so.
13 plus 16. 29 points of damage. Thank you, Bren.
You hit her with 2 arrows, solid, in her chest, and she stumbles back towards the boat, totally bloodied.
Okay.
Yep.
You're standing on the die.
And not doing very well. Okay.
so I did roll a 1.
Yeah.
Do I still get my second attack?
Sorry, you rolled a 1. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'll just try again. Hopefully this works better.
16.
All right, so that's 21 to hit.
Okay, yeah, it's a hit.
And okay, it's 11 damage to her.
11 damage to her on the heavy crossbow.
Okay.
Yeah.
The tiefling.
She goes down. So your crossbow hit her.
Yeah.
Solid. You hit her with 2, and she goes overboard. It pushes her back right over
Noise.
into the water. At this point, immediately the illusion on that ship goes off because you've taken damage.
Right.
And all of a sudden the sails fly and everybody's like, what the heck? And the leader looks up at the sailman, looks over at you. Do we want to pause?
Sure.
Good on about you.
Pause it is.
Okay, when you're ready, I'll let Joel know.
We're alive! No, I'm
Please
just kidding.
let Joel know I'm ready.
We're eating, I'm sorry. Really good fries. Alright.
Oh.
So the tiefling, you guys shot her with arrows. She goes overboard. The rest of the guards and everybody, they start to let loose. Some of the arrows find purchase in the Zentarum, but for the most part, they don't. They're shaken up by the fact that the deck just exploded. The sailors actually drop their crossbows and start climbing the rat lines to try and put out the fires. They're grabbing buckets, and they've kind of dispersed. So if you guys can like move these sailors like 20, 30 feet off the sides back, and they're basically just tending to making sure that the masts themselves don't catch fire. The boatswain, who's over here, starts to scream orders about what to do and where to catch and how to take care of what's going on here. They were holding their actions. Okay. Roscoe.
Yeah. Well, the fireball spell is down, right?
Did you have a hold action? You weren't holding an action.
Well, I was thinking about that, and I used my last action to investigate this flame. You said that I could hold multiple actions, but I've moved so far back, it wouldn't make sense for me to try to shoot arrows through this crowd.
Alright. So, Roscoe, what are you doing?
I'm going to. Well, that spell's gone, right?
Yes.
So
They're
now-
on to you.
Well, let's. Since my ship's on fire now.
Do a boy who called wolf thing. The crime wolf. Do an actual fireball. Yeah.
You make a good point, Far.
Okay.
my best.
I'm gonna cast an actual fireball.
Yes.
For reals? For reals.
Make them dead.
Wow. Let's see.
Their ship, right?
20 to hit.
That's a hit.
Okay.
Where do you aim it? Put a die where the central spot is?
Right at the base of their main mast.
Okay. So that's so 20 feet from there. Those guys take.
Let's see what the range is on this.
It's 20 feet.
20 feet, yeah.
20-foot radius.
You're gonna need a bigger boy.
Dexterity saving throws. What's your spell save DC? 14?
14, yeah.
Okay. Roll your damage.
Okay.
Yeah. How much?
25. And then anything that doesn't have like anything non-human, the fire will spread around it and ignite.
Yeah, so the deck immediately, it explodes. These guys are pretty much incinerated. This guy falls off the side in flames. The mask goes and starts to catch, or continues to catch. At which point, the leader says, he obviously is surprised by it, and says, fear off, wet the sails. And this guy, again, with the buckets, starts to pour water, or to shoot water up.
Yep.
This guy runs back here, grabs one of the lines, and starts to pull the sail to try and catch a different
Tack.
tack.
Balabar.
Actually, it's not their time to do that yet. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Can I do bardic inspiration
the
and
guards
throw
are next.
water?
Yeah.
What do you mean you guys are next?
Sorry, Balabar's next. Sorry. I didn't see you over the DM screen.
Okay. All day.
Or I thought you heard your character.
I'm gonna move. I want to get into this door. I want to go into the door where the Meister sleeps. Everybody's distracted, looking at all the fires. Everything's on fire. It's like New Year's Eve out
I
there.
love Balabar, man.
I want to listen. If we were in real
Being
danger,
attacked.
I'd
Wait,
help.
Get the treasure.
Listen, this isn't a real attack. This is like a few guys on a little paddle boat.
We're gonna pick us off this
I
boat.
want
We're
to
gonna
get
have
into
to
this.
swim the rest.
Okay, you get over to it.
Yeah.
The fall.
So these guys ran out in a hurry and they locked it behind them.
I rolled for it.
I
You remember to lock it.
I picked the lock.
Hey, give me a bluff check.
What? Dexterity?
What's your proficiency modifier?
Oh, There's a problem with my D20. I'd like to use it different.
You start
You
to
know what? I have
you start
a.
to pick, and you turn around, and it looks like nobody's noticed you over there yet.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. 20. Woo! 17 plus 3.
Okay, it opens.
Woo! I go in. I close the door. I look around.
All right. You can only get 30 feet, so
Well, I'm at the door. The door is like 5 feet away from me. So I go
you
in.
were at the door when you started the turn.
I was 5 feet away from the door.
Okay, so you have 20 feet left
Yeah.
of movement.
Yeah, but the whole thing is
Okay,
20 feet, right?
Well, no, because it's
So I'm at the door here.
that's her.
No. So
her quarters.
the Meister's quarters. That's where I was close to. So where the
Oh.
Meisters and the guards are.
Okay, so you go inside. On the straight ahead against this back wall,
Yeah.
you see a big armoire, and there's beds on either side, and there's 2-foot lockers between the two beds.
Okay, I am going to check the armor.
You already did your action because you already picked the lock. That's a full action, and you've moved inside, so that's as much as you can do. Guards. The guard chief says loose, and everybody looses their arrows.
I'm going to get caught in here.
Okay, so a bunch of arrows go flying over. He gets hit with 3 arrows. And hits, 3 arrows.
That was the guy that was like the leader.
Yeah. This guy's on fire still. This guy's trying to put out the fire. Oh no, this guy was pulling the rat lines.
That's right.
They all get hit with arrows. The maester says, "Get the captain to her quarters," and so he starts to back off this way with the captain. Move them as full 2, like 60 feet, and he moves up to here, takes her place.
They actually get to the door.
Yeah, inside the door or to the door.
Inside.
Would they get inside?
Yeah.
Okay, you
they're
see the
like
door
50
open
feet
up.
Right there.
He puts her in there and he closes it and locks it.
I think he likes her.
He stays outside though, right?
He stays outside
All right, so then he doesn't.
and he stands in front of the door. Vor.
All right. Do I see Balabar around? Like if I
No.
I have no
Give a perception check.
Why are you looking for me?
Because you keep missing or disappearing in battle. 15.
This is true.
When did I disappear in battle?
Do you remember when we fought the Remoras and you were just kind of hiding over
I
in
was
a
up,
tree?
took a defensive position,
Either way,
a
table
tactically
talk.
superior.
15.
You do notice that there are wet footprints
Yeah.
heading off in that direction.
Where
Which
are they went?
because these guys are putting out the water in the sails. So you do see wet footprints that end kind of around here,
Alright.
heading
Okay.
that way.
Alright.
I rolled, dude. We're rolling.
That's
this
fine.
is a game of rolling.
That's fine, they
And so
weren't-
when I roll certain things or roll badly, I tell you.
It's okay, they weren't using water until after I was in there.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Go ahead.
Alright, so I'm going to fire on him.
On who?
Leader.
Okay.
Both of my shots.
Oh, not
Not
20.
being fair.
Is it?
It is.
It is.
Is it? No. Reroll it if it goes off the
okay.
table.
13.
We re-roll it if it goes
This
off
one's
the
a
table.
19, and this one is...
A nat 20.
No, it's a 23. So, 19 and 23.
Those are hits.
Alright. Oh, the other one's stuck on the side. Alright.
Oh, out the window.
Oh, there we go. Good craftsmanship right there. So that's 11 damage in total.
11 damage total.
Yep.
Okay. He
I'm not a crossbowman.
goes down.
Dead, Dan?
You don't know.
All right.
He's not moving.
And then I shout, "Where's Balabar?"
I want a perception check from you two, Roscoe and.
Idiot. Roll the one.
You hear nothing.
Who's Balabar?
26. Natural 20.
You hear him yell, "Where's Balabar?" Natural 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear it very clear.
Crystal clear.
You can hear
Do
his
you know
mouth's a little
Balabar's
dry from the sea air.
That was a waste of a crit, but
Yeah, he's right behind you, so he's like, "Where's Balabar?" What the? Like, easy, Tiger.
okay.
What you want to do with that is up to you on your turn. Megil, what do you do?
I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark on this guy.
Yep.
And I'm going to fire.
Give me a perception check.
12.
I'll let you know.
Uh, 19 to fire on that guy. 19
to hit.
for
Yep.
okay. So Hunter's Mark and Colossus Slayer. And 19 points of damage with that first arrow.
He goes down. And so basically, it's an unmanned ship, and it starts to veer off.
You're not going to ask me how I want to do this?
No, not for his entire bandit. And the ship starts
Okay,
to
so I have my
slowly
second
starts
attack.
to. Yeah. Oh wait, there's one more guy left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my Hunter's Mark
Yep.
transfers to this guy.
Yep.
And I fire 22 points to attack.
Yeah. That's a hit.
Okay, so I can only use Colossus Slayer once per turn. So
Nice.
6 plus 3, 9. 13 points damage.
Okay. And he goes down as well.
What, did you just kill everybody?
Unmanned ship. Yeah. No, not him. Not. But yeah, they're all dead. All right. You are now out of initiative, and the ship just starts to careen. It's on fire. It starts to really go up. It catches the other sail. The deck starts to go up.
That'll
Your
serve
fire is
those
almost
witches.
completely out, As all sailors are kind of on deck trying to put it out with water, it's finally, but there's a big hole in the bottom of that sail. You get in the room, you turn around, you lock it, and you hear, "Where's Balabar?" Kind of quiet through the door, and you go, and then you turn around, and the navigator officer is standing in the room, looking at you.
Wardrobe.
Really?
Yeah, he's not. Is he on the deck?
Who's the navigator?
This guy, who is still in the officer's quarters. Anywhere stealthy.
You'll long
Okay,
walk back.
okay, give me a second. Okay, I'm gonna say to him. So at this point, when it's my turn,
We're out of initiative, so
but if I've just gone in, and turned around and he's there, and in that
You locked
time
the door.
that I've, but I didn't lock the door.
you said you locked it. You said I lock it behind me.
No, I didn't with this one. I locked the door
You didn't.
downstairs, but I didn't.
I thought you
lock
did.
this
Okay.
door.
No, he did not.
I just went in. I closed the door.
Okay. I'll close the door. Okay. Maybe I heard close. I thought it was locked. Okay.
Okay, so in that time, I hear, "Where's Balabar?"
Yeah.
Megil kills 3 people, and they're putting out the fire. And then the navigator's there.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, give me a second to come up with something. Okay. So I look at the navigator, and I gotta say, I'll say, "Where's the Meister gone? He disappeared in the middle of battle." He did.
Okay. Give me a performance check or deception check. Deception.
24.
Navigator turns to you and says, "Is he not on deck?
He was, and then he disappeared. I came in here to find him.
He's not in here. You better go out there."
Okay, and I leave.
You, who said, "Where's Balabar?" You see Balabar walk out of the officer's deck
Quickly, mind you.
quickly. You kind of close the door.
But I heard him call.
Yeah.
So I'll just go over to him, and I'll say, "You called?"
Once again,
Really
you've
for me?
missed the fun, Balabar.
Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
Where were you?
So I missed the you find Balabar. Where were you?
That's what he said.
Yeah, I'm just going over to my. Okay,
And take 2.
I gonna say I ran in there to see where the Meister went. Where did he go?
You went in there before he even left.
Can't remember. You were looking at the ship. I was over there. Whatever. Maybe that happened.
Look at the initiative order. I'm pretty sure you were second and
Yeah.
the guards were third.
But if you want to go over the initiative order, the enemy shot the fireball. Roscoe shot a real fireball back, and then I went into the room, and the guards started putting out the fire. And then Vor saw wet
took the
footprints.
captain to the quarters after you were already.
So he would not have seen wet footprints because the guards started putting out the fire after I had gone into the room.
No, because you guys went through multiple holding patterns before, multiple rounds of holding before it came back to you. And you guys actually did actions.
Truth. Preach.
Maybe.
yeah,
maybe.
they were putting out the fires in the round before.
Well, but the enemy shot the guards weren't holding an action of
Yeah,
put
they
out
did.
the fire. Was there
No,
other held action?
No,
put
what
out the
happened
fire?
was he I remember exactly what happened. He shot the, we shouldn't be.
We're gonna watch next
Okay,
week
right.
and see
But
exactly
we
what happened.
will go to
The
the
instant replay.
We will. But what happened was,
Well, it's not
is
instant.
Balabar, he shot it. They said, hold your action. The rest of the guys said, hold to fire. And the sailors, when the guards said that, sailors went to go take care of what was going on. Oh, wait.
Okay, so you said to me, you missed the action.
Just play it.
So then what? What did you say to me? And I said, I went to find the Meister, and you
You
said,
were gone while the maester was right here.
Was he there? I didn't see him. It's dark out, and with the fire going, I could not see his face. I thought he'd returned to his quarters for some reason.
Deception
My
check.
trust in you is waiting. All right.
What are you just waiting to see?
Perception and deception.
Okay, 10.
14.
Okay.
All right.
You're
totally
you're
believe
fuzzy and on what you remember. It's still suspect, but you're fuzzy on the details.
I guess with the flame on the other side of him, I couldn't see his face.
you. The next time we're fighting, I expect you to participate.
Vor, you know I love to kill things like you do. Maybe not like you do. But I enjoy a good battle as well.
All right, so everybody on the deck is scrambling to put out and fix the damage. What's that?
The main sail.
Yeah. The majority of the sailors tend to the sail. The boatswain comes down, starts giving them orders of how to fix it. Finally, the captain comes out when it's absolutely there's no danger left, and she just checks on everybody, makes sure everybody's okay. The maester starts to make his rounds, asks you guys if you guys are okay. At that point, the captain comes over to you and says, if you ever do anything like that on my ship without my orders again, you're overboard. Do you understand me? I don't care if you can float. I don't care if you can levitate. I don't care if you're made of piss and wind. You are going overboard. Do you understand me?
Can we all hear this?
Yes.
Well, we're all... yeah, I think we're all there.
Yeah, you're all there.
Yeah, you come up to you, man.
Those people meant to do my new friends great harm. And though I started this recent battle with a casual toss of my arm, the end result would be the same, no matter who fired first. Had we let them take the advantage, the result would have been much worse. That said, I do appreciate your concern, and I feel terribly contrite, so rest assured, if we are ever attacked by another ship, I shall let them cast the first blow. My sincerest apologies.
I'm not sure what you just said. But if it happens again, you go overboard. Do you understand me?
Of course, Captain.
And she kind of marches back to her
Or the
quarters.
captain?
Okay.
I guess I can't convince her to want to play the guitar, so.
Yeah, no. Okay, so you guys, okay. The craziness ends. Some of the sailors and the boatswain are up for the majority of the night to try and fix that mainsail. But the boat is still, or the ship is still sailing at a decent pace. How are we doing for time? Do we want to still go for are we okay to go till?
Not
really. I have 4% left on my iPad.
And that is a problem.
It's approximately 20 minutes of gameplay, I would imagine. About 5 minutes per percentage point.
There's so much else to do.
You don't have you can't just, I don't know, plug it in.
You know, microphone is currently sucking the battery out too, and I can't really switch it, to be honest. Things have not gone as planned tonight.
Always the way.
This iPad was 100% at the beginning of the night, so I don't even know.
Okay.
Sorry, gents.
Nope. Okay, so what do you want to do? So do you want to... We'll play a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And then we'll just, when it dies, it dies?
Yep.
Okay.
Dead income.
Okay.
So I need to say to Megil, I wonder how they found us and what they want with us.
Well, what they want is quite clear, but how they found us, I don't know. I mean, we're on a ship in the middle of the sea. I don't know how they found us.
Did they want you or did they want me?
Well, they said they just wanted passengers on the ship, and it's just the three of us that have had run-in with in Centaurum. Balabar and I first came across them in Nightstone, and then you helped us out. That's where we met you, Var, in Bryn Shandar. But I don't know, we never got a chance to learn which of us they were after.
Well, I suppose no one will know what happened to them now.
But what of this other stowaway or crew member on the ship that had threatened Vor? Could it be related with these, or are you certain that was one of your handlers? Or like, we don't even know what happened with that guy.
I had thought it was the one that just snuck on and snuck off.
While we were at sea?
No, we were still in port, and
Were we? Yeah,
in
yeah, I
Luskin.
know, yeah.
when that happened.
I've got nothing shady from the crewmen here. I don't know if any of them would be really. There's no drow. I don't know.
And we've got no ability to detect whether or not there's some sort of magic tracker or some sort of way that they're tracking us. Something that would be akin to the way I'm able to detect whether or not giants or goblins are nearby.
The only way they could find us is through magic, right?
Aye.
It's a long shot, but I want to do some sort of check on the items in my bag of holding to just make sure there's no magical powers on any of them. I do have a ring with the symbol of Ventorum on it. Just to be safe, I'd like to
Give me an
just...
investigation check.
Aye.
Sorry. 16?
So you look through your bag, and that is the only thing that you could imagine that might have any sort of tie to it, but you'd have to do an Arcana check to find out if it's actually magical.
Okay, that's what I would like to do.
Well, you said you looked in your bag to see if there was anything else.
Okay, sure. 18.
You need to detect magic spell or something like that in order to actually detect a magical essence. But you can't really tell whether or not this is emitting any sort of signal.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be surprised if it wasn't. You would have had to remember that I had this thing. Like, it's just a gold ring with their symbol from their captain, so I
Got you there.
What else did I know? Yeah, so... Okay, but I can't tell? I rolled 18, I can't tell. No idea.
There isn't any magical scrying, like the actual build of it itself. You can't tell that it's magical. But you'd have to get it, like, identified or...
And I'd have to admit that I have it.
Did I see that he's doing this?
Where are you doing this?
In a very secret place with no one around.
Would Roscoe be able to know what this is, maybe, or what it does?
Yeah, I guess I've got to look through my bag of holding, and so I can call forth certain items, right? So I'm just kind of like as carefully as I can.
Yeah.
I don't want to just dump the
he
bag of
pulls
holding
out,
onto the deck.
He pulls out like festering,
Giant
rotted
heads.
meat from
It's like, oh yeah,
from
reindeer.
deer, from elk, and like pulls out like all these. Yeah.
The ring's pretty small, so like I would pull it out. Just check it, I'm putting it back. I don't know that you would see it. I don't know.
Yeah. That was just for the RP's purpose of getting Roscoe involved.
But you don't know why I'm
because he
checking
knows
either.
magic.
You don't know why I'm checking
Alright,
for
so
my bag
then-
either.
I'm talking to Roscoe.
Roscoe, in your magical knowledge, do you know how they could be finding us here in the ocean?
Give me an Arcana check.
Sorry, is that 9 or 6?
9.
9. 14.
You imagine the only way that somebody could probably do that is if there was an item that was so with some sort of essence that could be tracked, or if they had some sort of scrying spell where they could scry on a certain individual. But that's pretty high level magic.
That is.
Well, if they had access to a device, or if there was a device in our person that they could potentially what? Track. That's the word. They could track us through that item, or if they had someone of sufficient magical knowledge, they could conceivably scry us. But that is a very powerful spell. Have you made enemies with people with exceptional magical abilities?
We have enemies in many places.
Those are the only two ways that I know of.
Scry.
I know, it sounds funny. It's a fancy word for looking afar from a distance.
Do you think that red woman that was on there could have done that?
The red woman. Which one's the red woman, pray tell?
The one that
The TIE fighter
unleashed
with the
the
tile.
fireball.
Oh, yes, the one that doesn't know go with us. It's possible, of course. But why would they want to reach you so badly? What have you done to deserve such attention?
Just defending the innocent.
Oh, of course. Everyone hates people who do that.
I imagine if that tiefling had such great magical capabilities that she could find us in the middle of the sea, we would not be standing here so happy.
Do any of you possess an item that they could have possibly been tracking?
I have nothing that belonged to Zentarum.
Then, presuming that's not the case, then yeah, somehow they've been scrying upon you. If it was the redhead woman, then of course it's no longer an issue since she's dead, but is she the only one? What say you, Balabar?
I have nothing. So I
Do you mean to say, or just in general?
I have no idea how they could have tracked us. I have nothing that belongs to them, unless it's just some of their blood left on my blades.
Well, I doubt there's anyone else on the ship that would have any kind of magical ability, or at least the arcane knowledge known or required to determine that, so I suppose we're on our own.
Megil was knocked unconscious for a time while we were under siege by them. Perhaps they inserted something into his body somewhere that could have allowed them to track. I know it's far-fetched, but...
Does anyone have detect magic? Perhaps we could discern whether or not there's anything on Megil's person that is in fact magical and trackable?
I don't know magic.
Regrettably, I haven't prepared the spell today, so
Perhaps tomorrow.
perhaps.
Thank you, Roscoe.
Oh, you're quite welcome, Vor. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
All right.
So, okay, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
So where is everyone headed today?
It's nighttime, yes?
Yes.
I'm headed. No.
Oh, that's droll.
All right. So you guys all head to bed. You guys settle in for the rest of the evening. You get the rest of your long rest. You sleep in a little bit for that reason. And you guys travel for the next 3 days, pretty much unhindered. There's some rough waters. It gets warmer and warmer to the point where it's summer weather on the ocean. You guys pass Neverwinter. Throughout those 3 days, you
Do we pass or do we stop
no,
longer?
they slow down, they stop, they set anchor, they send out the lifeboat with Jinx's cousin and his retainers.
Sister?
And the sister.
Yeah.
They're well on their way. Over the last day, you've seen her come back.
Okay.
To the point where she can walk on her own and she can talk. You guys share stories about the frost giants and what she saw and what happened.
Is there a torrid love affair between her and Balabar somewhere in that?
No,
3 days? No.
there is not.
Pardon.
Then you get back on the Lucerne Tempest. You guys travel for the last 3 days towards Waterdeep.
Okay, there is one thing that I would like to try.
Oh, have we paid the night star?
Yes.
Yeah,
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 take
that's
that.
okay. Somewhere during that day, I do want to take the ring that has a symbol of them torn, wrap it in a cloth, hide it in a footlocker.
The only place he could.
And then
What's your footlocker?
in like one of the guards' footlockers.
He's gonna Christopher walk in there.
And then approach Roscoe to do his detect magic to see if
On you?
in the area. I don't know how large of an area you can do, but to see if he detects magic coming from this item that he doesn't know about.
Okay.
If he doesn't
Tell me the detect magic spell.
Okay.
Clever.
Thank you. High five.
Okay.
High five.
So
I thought you were waiting.
basically, it's a 10-minute duration, and as you move around, you can detect it within 30 feet of you. So
Okay, so you just do a walk of
you
the
have to
whole
search the
ship.
ship. Yeah.
Okay.
If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn the school of magic if any. The spell can penetrate most barriers, but it is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. So, depending on that foot locker.
Maybe wood lockers.
Yeah.
Maybe not 3 feet thick.
No.
So as you walk through the halls to the areas that you have access to,
Mhm.
what does it say? You detect a faint aura?
Yeah, you'll see a faint glow on anything that's magical.
Okay. So you do see a faint glow as you pass the captain's quarters.
Okay.
It seems like it's in the back, but you can almost like infrared where you see it not through the walls, but you can tell that there's something
Something.
something glimmering buried fairly deep in that chamber. When you're walking around Balabar, you can tell that his bag of holding is
Replete with magic.
well, yeah. Well, the items aren't there, so you're just detecting the aura of magic of the bag
Right,
itself.
there's something. Okay.
You guys don't have any magic items on yourselves, right? On your persons? That's all you detect.
Balabar's got all
So we would discuss that, right? I would say, what did you? What
Sorry.
did you find? Were you-
And then there's 2 smaller auras down in the back door chamber at the back end of the ship.
Okay.
On the other side of the crew quarters, so opposite of where you guys stay,
Oh yeah, I
in
didn't get
the
it.
aft chamber.
Okay. So yeah, we would discuss the
Someone-
various locations.
Would you tell us the locations then where you saw magical items?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
So we
then
could say, like,
there
is
was
it
not-
possible that the Zentarum could have hid something on the ship in order to track us in the captain's quarters, in the back, whatever? Do you think that's possible, that they could have hid something in one of the storage areas?
Maybe possible.
But-
I'm not discounting anything.
We don't know if they knew that we were in Luskin when we first left port.
There's a lot of things that we don't know about this, and yet they found us in the middle of the sea.
True enough.
I think
that.
to be safe, what we should do is check out those storage rooms and see what is hidden there in order to detect if they are tracking us.
Oh, we should go to the captain and let her know what.
And if the magical item is hidden in her room,
She seems trustworthy. I'm sure if there's something on her ship that's having her tracked, she would want it there.
I agree with Vor.
I dare say that accusing the captain, given that's all that's transpired in the past few days, might not work out well to our favor. Perhaps there's a legitimate reason for their magic item.
Roscoe, you're new to our party. Do you carry any magical items?
I do, but not in the traditional sense.
Nothing that would allow people to track us, anyways.
No, of course
Because you
not.
were seemingly unharmed with some of our enemies
I was seemingly what now?
when we took you from the frost giants. You were not in terrible condition. Is that correct?
Let's see. Other than bound head to foot, stripped of all of my personal items, no money to speak of. Yes, you're right. Other than that, I was in tip-top shape.
He's good.
But you were physically unharmed.
Yes, that's
So the
true. Giants
possessions
didn't
that-
have their way with me, if that's what you're referring to. Goodness knows I wouldn't have been able to walk had that been the case.
We did have to carry you off. All
I
I'm
was
saying is that
unconscious,
you are
that's
the
the reason.
newest member of our party.
It is
The
true.
only one that can tell us if magic exists or it does not. So I'm not saying that perhaps you led them to us,
Oh, no.
but it's no less likely that the captain did than it is that you led them to us.
Well, one cannot argue with that unassailable logic.
We must be careful no matter what, and I think it would be wise to do some of our investigation first before introducing new parties to our concerns.
When Roscoe
To Joel.
Was looking
Joel.
for man.
To Joel.
Just pass it
To Joel.
You're watching it at home. No, it's a subtle note pass.
It was supposed to, it was intended to be a
Joel, do you like me? Yes. No,
Reception rolls poorly with this one.
check. Yes, no.
Yeah.
So I'll just turn to these guys and I'll say, we don't know who we can trust other than the people in our group right now, and that's the three of us.
I don't trust anyone from this ship more than the captain. I just don't think she would like us poking around. If we speak to her, I'm sure she would do what is right and look.
I agree
Perhaps,
with
but so
Bard.
far she has.
We can't be going around her ship looking for things and poking our heads into places that we shouldn't be.
Well, so
without
far,
her.
she has dropped us off at a ship surrounded by 20 giants, and we've been intercepted in the middle of the
We
night.
asked her to take us to Port Les so that we could find Jinx's sister. That wasn't on her, that was on us.
Yeah.
And
We've put them in
we're
danger
aboard her
multiple
ship.
times.
And so far, because of us, this ship has been in the middle of 20 frost giants, and now Zentarum. And we can
Perhaps
only
because of
presume
us,
it's
or
from.
perhaps because of her.
Yeah.
So, if you feel it's best to involve her, then let's involve her.
Balabar,
I think so.
forgive me for I know not of all that's transpired, but the people that were on that boat, what interest did they have in you? Were they simply going to talk to you, do you think? Or were there more nefarious things abroad?
It's hard to say since we killed them all.
That is true, but they
It's
certainly
hard to
seemed
say even
menacing.
if we were the ones they were looking for, other than we've encountered their type before. It's hard to say that it was.
He does have a
us.
valid point there. We're only making an assumption that they were after us.
They could have been after you.
They
Well,
could
I
have been
believe-
after
I believe
anybody
their
aboard the
leader
ship.
said to the captain that they wanted to speak with their companions. Plural. I am but one, so surely it wasn't me they were after. And I don't know how many other companions were on the boat, but it certainly seemed as though they were focused their attention on you. Now, that said, if the captain was in league with whoever these men happened to be, then surely she had ample opportunity
She'd have found
to
us
take us
all
into
over.
custody, or to have you killed or
Not
thrown
have
off the
her ship
side.
burned.
A multitude of possibilities. It just seems a bit of a stretch that the captain would wait until the ship showed up to then have us accosted. Or sorry, you, and of course me perhaps guilty by association. But it's not outside the realm of possibility, certainly.
So if you'd like to speak to the captain, then we should go ahead and do that.
Let's go.
I agree.
All right, so you guys find the Maester, as you know that's the general
Protocol.
protocol. You guys are escorted to the captain's quarters at a time. Actually, the Maester says, I will fetch you when she has time. In a certain amount of time. This is like a day and a half, or actually, I'd say 2 days into your 4-day journey.
I retrieved my ring at some point. By the way.
Okay. You get to the captain's quarters. Door opens. You guys are ushered in. She says, "So, I'm assuming you all have recovered from your injuries."
I thank you for your consideration.
Of course.
Sorry, is it the three of them? Or am I...
I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to them. Did
What's
you guys bring Roscoe along?
Yes.
Yeah, he was part of our conversation.
Okay. She says, "Well, how may I help you?" We're about 2 days from Waterdeep.
I think at best that our Genasi friend here, Roscoe, explained to you what's transpired.
You explain. We can't trust him. You
the
explain
one
to the
that-
captain.
He's the one that had the ability to detect whether or
I
not
don't
there was
even know
magic
if he's
here.
telling the truth, but we just met this guy.
Is there some
You know, she
deception in the
can
ranks?
hear everything you're saying.
We're concerned about how they were able to track us to the middle of the sea.
And our Genasi friend here has the ability to detect magic.
Well, I imagine
that they just followed us from Luskin.
All the way from Luskin. Why would they have not attacked us when we were under siege from giants? Or
I don't know.
anyways, our
Well, of course, if you attack someone while they're being attacked by giants, it's entirely conceivable that the giants would then turn on them.
And if they in
Yeah.
fact wanted you, then they probably wanted to wait until the giants spared you or not.
Had the giants succeeded in killing you, of course, there'd be no need to track you.
What he said.
Oh, dear,
Miguel?
I'm so sorry, Balabar.
do you think it's conceivable that they simply followed us from Luskin? That they just watched us through the fog
Give me
that
a
was
survival check.
the fog that was so thick that we could not see the shore, that this ship followed us for 300 miles? 2
She said it
million
wasn't it's
miles.
400 miles to
24.
thousand.
You imagine it is absolutely conceivable that they could have stayed just out of view, especially with the fog that was there, and through magical means were able to follow you from a distance and see further than they could in order to follow you from us.
The information that would have been useful before we got to the captain's quarters.
Maybe if you had asked, I would have given it to you.
Listen, it's not all on me. Okay, so what are you gonna tell us this? You're like, well, on second thought, maybe they saw us.
Oh, all things being considered,
Well, now that you've heard new information,
it's possible that they were following us from behind. I personally think that they had some sort of magical means of tracking us.
I'll say,
Because we did not run into the Zentarum and Luskin at all. And if there was any place that they would have attacked us and gotten away with it in that den of inequity, they certainly would have attacked us there with any retribution. It would have just been another day.
So, Sam, we're so sorry to have disturbed you, Captain. But our new companion here reported that he could see magical items inside of your chambers. Sorry, I don't laugh. I don't laugh out loud.
she sits back in her chair and she says, let me get this straight. You didn't trust our ship enough. And she's looking at you, Roscoe.
Oh, yes, of course.
Thank goodness.
That you felt it your responsibility or your privilege to take it upon yourself to search my ship. A ship that is carrying multiple items that are to be sold from the people that give us good money to transport it to Waterdeep. And all of your companions let you.
We
Well,
didn't.
Captain, if we're going to be absolutely accurate, it's not that they let me. They actually insisted. And having just recently saved my life, it seemed only fair to acquiesce to their request. I apologize if I've caused any undue hardship or harm or insult, but surely you can appreciate that if my recent heroic saviors had asked me to do something, how could I but refuse?
Give me a perspective.
Yeah, I hope you fail. Because that was pretty good.
Where's inspiration when you need it, right?
So Roscoe's the one with charisma.
Fail.
15.
Well, with her natural 20,
Oh!
she says, no, that's bad for you.
No, I know.
No. She says, well, I understand. No more magic on board my ship. Do you understand? No more magic,
Okay.
or you swim with the merfolk. Do you understand?
I do, Captain. Of
All
course.
right. Now, for the rest of you, mind your business upon my ship. You are but mere cargo, currently. Stay out of my cargo, and I will stay out of your business. Because of you, my ship could have gone down. but we took care of it. Do you understand? Balabar,
Absolutely.
do you understand?
We apologize.
This is not the first time aboard this ship this week that I've had to have this conversation with you.
Really?
Yes.
Balabar. Captain. Unbelievable.
Yes, Vor.
You've had a conversation like this with him before?
It is between us. You're lucky I like you.
I really like you.
And you're lucky that I liked your great-grandfather. But my patience is wearing thin.
With all due respect, Captain, we brought this to your attention because we wanted you to be privy to the information that we had gathered. Not to have gone behind your backs, but your back. But we are concerned that the Zentarum had tracked us somehow, and the only possible means that we could come up with it was magic. And so when we were able to determine that there was magic items aboard the ship, you were the first person that we all agreed had to be within our circle of trust on this.
You are absolutely correct, except for the fact that you did actually go behind my back and detect magic on my ship.
You're absolutely right. We should have asked your permission to do that. But
All right.
before we knew that there was no concern to bring to you. But you're right. It is your ship, and we should have asked for the privilege to investigate.
We have 2 more days till we reach Waterdeep. I hope that these 2 days go without incident. Is it understood?
As do we.
We would like a few days of peace ourselves.
We apologize for the mistakes of our new companion.
Oh my.
And
Still. You're dismissed.
Thank you.
You're dismissed.
a good evening.
Let's go.
You guys all. All right, so you guys settle in for the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
2 days pass.
Oh my goodness.
I'd like to try to break into the captain's quarters again. No.
I'd like to cast explosive runes next to his bed.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Rising from the shores of its deep harbor to ring the great mountain, standing tall out of the sea of swords, is Waterdeep, the city of splendors, and the crown of the north. To all of Faerun, this great metropolis stands as the pinnacle of what a great city might be in wealth, influence, and stability.
It's Oshawa.
Oh.
Sorry to those of you from Oshawa. I don't know why my companions were laughing at that.
To those that have walked its streets, the citizens, which would be you, sir, Vor, you've been to. Well, yeah, you've never been to Waterdeep. You have been to Waterdeep.
I have.
You have never been, but you've heard stories. But he has absolutely been to Waterdeep. To those that have walked its streets, the citizens work the noble sneer, and the great masked lords plot and scheme, all while merchants dance between them to collect their coins and continue profiting as best they can. Waterdeep's shops and merchants offer goods of every sort from every corner of Toro, and even the rarest of items can be procured given sufficient coin and patience. Adventurers lacking one or the other can very easily find all manner of employment, from simple escorting of caravans to guarding nobility to investigating a ruin or a rumor of monsters anywhere in the north.
Yeah.
So how are we doing for...
We're good.
So as you guys approach, it's hard to ignore the massive white stone walls that rise from the depths and surround the great harbor, seamlessly joining the city walls for miles to either side. As you pass through the main gate, so you guys are passing basically through a gate in the water. The the walls, the great stone walls of Waterdeep, go all the way around the city, including into the harbor. As you pass through the main gate, its towers loom hundreds of feet above the water and are guarded by dozens of sentries. As you peer over the railing into the dark depths of the harbor, you glimpse that at what first appear to be man-sized fish swimming alongside, but quickly realize they're in fact armored merfolk, escorting you into the harbor. A sudden screech from above turns your attention to the sky as a regiment of griffin riders pass overhead, patrolling the harbor. In the distance, the dock ward bustles, a true testament to the abundant trade that is drawn to its shores. As you guys, the ship kind of passes through the gate, and as it does, you look down again, the silhouettes are gone of the swimming creatures that are either side of the boat, and you guys have entered the great harbor of Waterdeep.
Balabar! Balabar! I saw merfolk! There were griffins. I've only read about them. It's amazing.
It truly is a city of wonders. We have nothing seen yet.
There's more to see.
Oh, my dear.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And that's where we end tonight's session.
Woo! Bravo, gentlemen.
It's hot.
I would have absolutely have continued, but we are out of power and out of time, and I had so much planned.
I know.
But
I know.
we didn't get to
All
it.
right.
So,
Well, at least you're prepped for next time.
yeah. Well, at least we made it to Waterdeep without
Yeah.
Balabar getting thrown overboard. That's